Hi everyone, this is Heather again, and today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about art journaling. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of my art journal and talk to you about some ways to get started on an art journal or an altered book. They're both kind of similar. I use actually a old book as my art journal. If you Google altered books, you'll find all sorts of crazy sculptures and really elaborate stuff that people have done to books. But you can start your art journal in just an ordinary sketchbook. Or if you would like to try out altered books, you can pick a hardcover book. This one is the book that I picked because I like the title. It's also a really good book too. Just pick a hardcover book that you don't mind tearing apart and changing a little bit. I know it feels a little wrong at first. We're taught to not destroy books, but this is for a good cause. So you might have something in your home, any kind of old book that you're not reading anymore will work. And I'm going to give you sort of a few points and tips to get you started. And then we can talk about using some of your prompts that we've been doing in our YouTube series, Taking Care, that you can put into your art journal. So this is mine. It's got a fun tie on the front. And I started on the inside cover here, just doing some collage techniques, just with some different magazine pictures that I found that I really like. When I start collaging, I just pick a picture and kind of go with it. So this is the beginning of my art journal or altered book. And then on the inside, I was going through, and I started on the title page here and did some origami. This was in a class I took. We did an origami heart, and I kind of added some watercolor technique up there, some pens, and then I added this page in later. This was just a prompt around positivity and colors, and I do a lot of abstract techniques in my art journal. So here's some other techniques where I combine both paint and collage. And this page is a good representation of, you could use really anything you want. These are old puzzle pieces. You can paint over them. These I painted with gesso, or you really could use anything, any kind of acrylic paint. But especially if you're using an old book rather than a sketchbook to get started in your art journal, you want to try and prime the pages with some sort of acrylic paint or gesso. And that kind of gives you a blank surface. There might be some pages, and we'll get to them in a minute, that you want to leave some of the words showing through. So this one I chose, I wanted to have like a little window into this word that said message. And I was kind of thinking of things that really like help me get through tough times, and that are things like running, being outside, in the mountains, hiking. So that was kind of the subject of this one. Here's another one. Some of these we've done, and I did during our art journaling class at Create. This one was dealing with stress, and I first found this picture and felt like, wow, it represented how I feel when I feel stressed. That feeling of like your head is pounding, and you just can't deal with anything. You got pain. So there I used some Sharpies, I used some watercolor in the background. I wanted to keep this little poem here because I thought it was kind of inspirational. So I'm not going to show you every single page, but this is one I just was working on around the idea of spring and new growth. And even though it's sort of hard to see that coming right now, today specifically it's snowing and sleeting outside, but just yesterday the sun was shining. It was nice to get outside and be in nature. And so this one, I kind of primed a little bit, and then I used some watercolor, some collage, and was thinking about how one of the great things about spring is just discovering all those new little plants popping up through the surface, and just the new growth. So that's something that I just did recently in my art journal. A couple of these other pages I wanted to just mention, if you are using an existing book, you might want to take a glue stick, or like some tacky glue, whatever you've got at your house right now. And these papers are pretty thin, so you might want to glue a couple pieces of paper together, or you can just glue, take two pages in your book, make sure to get out at the edges of your page, and just use your glue to bind two pieces of paper together. And that just makes it a little stiffer so that it holds up to the art materials a little bit better. So you can see some of these pages are actually quite stiff. I reinforced the pages with 2 or 3 pieces of paper. This is also a great opportunity if you love doing collage. It's a great opportunity to just kind of start putting things that you've been collecting from magazines into the book and just see where it takes you. This is some more origami. We'll talk about some other art journaling techniques in future videos. And for now, just use it as a starting point to get started and start collecting all these thoughts and feelings that you've had in the last few days and weeks into one place. And it can really be a place that really contains your feelings and helps you work through them. So that's it for today and art journaling, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.